Sekejap eh. Alright, okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay, kita continue. Sekarang clear kan?
Yes.
Okay, aluminium gallium arsenide is used as BSF. Can you explain a little bit about BSF?
Yes. Okay. Actually, aluminum gallium arsenide is largest. It has the largest carrier mobility and high band offset. So that's why we use aluminum gallium arsenide.
Okay.
Um,
What's the role of the BSF?
to reflect the light, to absorb light.
Okay. It stays at the back, right?
Yes, that's it.
Isn't it to minimize recombination?
Yes, to minimize the carrier recombination rate.
Okay. Is it P type or N type?
P type, right?
P type? Okay, alright. Thank you very much. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Alright. Bye. Okay, let's have the next one, Zuriati. Okay, turn on the video, Zuriati.
Okay.
Alright. That one, yeah? Okay then. Apa khabar? Sihat?
Sehat.
Okay. Alright, what's the role of window layer in gallium arsenide solar cell?
Sorry,
What's the role of window layer?
window layer. Okay.
Yeah.
For window layer, yeah, it acts as a dia heavily doping cap layer.
Okay.
Lepas tu dia really grown to protect window layer, grown to protect and acts as a contact layer.
So what's the material making the window layer? Oxide or something?
Window layer, aluminum gallium arsenide.
Oh, aluminum gallium arsenide. It's not oxide based material, yeah? Okay. You explained about OGA recombination in gallium arsenide, right? Can you explain a little bit about that? OGA recombination?
Okay. We use OGA recombination because we use high doping density or high injection levels.
Okay.
So it caused by high concentrated sunlight.
Okay.
So
high concentrated meaning what? High concentrated sunlight meaning. Oh, what do you mean by high concentrated sunlight? Do you focus the light or?
They absorb light.
Yeah, but what do you mean by high concentration sunlight or highly concentrated sunlight? Do you focus the light to be concentrated or? What do you think?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. All right, no problem. Yeah, gallium arsenide is typically used in multi-junction solar cells, right?
Yes.
So when you have multi-junctions, normally we use concentrator system. Maksudnya ada lens dekat atas, focus the light into multiple parts of your solar cells for absorption. So it's called, under that condition, it's called under concentrated sunlight. So maksudnya if you read about solar cell, it's not under one sun condition. It's under 10 sun or 100 sun or 50 sun or 500 sun or a couple hundred suns. Maksudnya concentration light tu coming a couple of hundred times higher than under natural condition. And that's the typical condition for multi-junction 3-5 solar cells. Okay?
Okay.
All right, Zuriati, that's it. Thank you very much.
Right.
Okay, done with gallium arsenide solar cell. Let's go back to amorphous silicon solar cell. So let's have Husna. Husna ada?
Hello, Doctor.
Okay, hello, apa khabar? Can you turn on your video? Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Doctor. Alright.
Okay, my first question is, can you explain a little bit about the operation of amorphous silicon solar cell?
Cell?
Tak clear lah, Husna. Can you hear me? By the way, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, alright, okay, okay. You try reply, saya dengar putus-putus.
Okay, Doctor. Wait,
Okay, now much better.
Doctor.
All right. You can hear me, right? Husna? Putus kah? Husna, boleh dengar saya tak? Ada line problem kot. Yang lain boleh dengar Husna tak? Kot lah saya je tak dengar. Just checking. Yang lain boleh dengar Husna tak? Sekarang. Cannot, right? Okay. Mungkin dia disconnected kot. Okay, let's see how it goes later on. Tak apalah, kita move on to the next one. Let's have Faika. Okay, Faika, can you turn on? Alright, turn on already. Apa khabar?
I cannot hear you, Doctor.
Oh, cannot hear me? Really?
Okay, can.
You can? Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Alright. Okay. Still di campus ke? Okay. Belum balik lagi. Bila you punya schedule balik? Ke tak balik?
Don't know yet.
Oh, don't know
Supposed to
yet.
be today, but
Oh, right.
it got cancelled. Yeah.
Oh, okay then. Tak apalah. So hopefully everything's fine in campus. Okay, my question is, you mentioned about glass superstrate in amorphous silicon solar cell.
Yes.
Okay, can you elaborate on the glass superstrate? What is
It
glass
is just a substrate. Isn't
Okay.
it like to protect the solar cell?
Okay. So it stays on top or at the back of the solar cell?
Substrate is on top
Okay.
and the substrate is at the back.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. You did explain as well about Stabler-Wronski effect in amorphous silicon.
Yeah.
Okay, please
So
explain that.
yes, it is a light-induced degradation.
Okay.
It cannot be completely get rid of because it is naturally happens in amorphous silicon. So even if many studies have been done, they couldn't really get rid of it completely, but they can somehow decrease the degradation, the photo degradation.
Okay, so when you say it's light-induced degradation, is it what? Is it reducing in performance upon illumination to
Yeah,
sunlight?
the cells performance.
Okay, so what can we do to repair the problem?
They added hydrogen inside the sealant, and also they increased the deposition temperature.
Okay,
Yeah, depositing temperature.
so what's going to happen to the dangling bonds?
Yeah.
What's going to happen to dangling bonds upon passivation?
Or dangling bonds.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact mechanism because it is not known yet. But
Okay.
when the light destroys the bond, the bonds, so they leave like dangling bonds. So the dangling bond causes recombination.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, doctor.
All right. Take care. Okay.
Right.
Shamim. Shamim ada?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, turn on the video please. Apa khabar? Sihat?
Sihat.
Alright, amorphous silicon solar cell typically uses PIN junction, right?
Yes.
Can we use PN junction?
Yes. Okay.
Alright, can you explain a little bit?
PIN junction, most amorphous silicon use PIN junction because the length of the dope section, which is the PNN layer, is short or thin, so it
Okay.
use the add the intrinsic layer, which is the undoped region, to extend the thickness for the diffusion length of photons to be absorbed.
Okay. Alrighty. What was the typical thickness of the amorphous silicon absorber in the amorphous silicon solar cell?
Again, Doctor, can you repeat?
Berapa?
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, okay, right. What's the typical thickness of amorphous silicon in the amorphous silicon solar cell?
From what I found, it is 1 micrometer.
1 micron, alright. Do you know what's the reason why 1 micron or less?
Because it's thin.
Right, for example, if you talk about amorphous silicon solar cell, can you can you run amorphous silicon solar cell with 100 micron, for example? What do you think?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Kenapa dia tadi you cakap apa dia punya diffusion length kan? Diffusion length is
Diffusion length.
short or long?
If no intrinsic layer, it is short.
Okay, without with intrinsic is a little bit longer.
Longer.
Right. Yes, generally the diffusion length in amorphous silicon is low. You can improve the diffusion length of amorphous silicon solar cell by adding intrinsic. However, it doesn't improve that much. It's better than the PN junction though. That's why they make it PIN junction. But it is still in the relatively low diffusion length region. So bila kita nak design solar cell, if you cannot make sure that your diffusion length is not more than the absorber thickness, the whole semiconductor material thickness, then the semiconductor as the solar cell will not work. Maksudnya ground rule bila kita design solar cell ni, the diffusion length of the carriers has to be longer than the absorber thickness. Barulah solar cell tu akan operate. Kalau dia punya diffusion length is lower than the absorber thickness, it will not operate. Ataupun kita wrongly design the solar cell. Maknanya kalau kita nak decide thickness wafer ke, thickness thin film, kita kena tahu dia punya diffusion line berapa dulu, baru kita boleh decide the absorber layer punya thickness. So if you don't know, then we might end up not having results from the solar cells. Okay? Alright, Shamil, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Husna, can you hear me? Terputus ke Husna?
Hello?
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yeah, Doctor.
Alright. My question is, operation of amorphous silicon solar cell. Can you explain?
Okay, Doctor. Actually, when the light
Yeah, operation of amorphous silicon solar cell.
know that amorphous silicon actually has a very thin and light flexible. So the electron the electron absorption is high, right, Doctor?
Okay.
So when the electron in the observer layer are excited, excited from a lower energy from the speed and feel that when that
Husna, terputus lah Husna. Putus-putus. Husna, I think it's okay. Nanti saya WhatsApp kat you lah. Sebab saya dengar you jawab tapi putus-putus. Okay, nanti kita voice Q&A voice dalam WhatsApp, okay?
okay.
Alright then. Thank you. Oh, done. Habis. Yeah, done already for today. Okay, yeah, we're done with presentation 1. Maybe before we end, I would like you to reflect on what have you learned on this presentation. Sebelum kita habis. Can you share with me what did you learn from this presentation? Presentation 1. Anyone boleh cakap ke, nak tulis ke? Kita ambil awal ni. It's okay Husna, nanti kita WhatsApp Alright, okay. Anyone would like to share what did you learn from this presentation? Because we're gonna have another presentation. Presentation 2. Anyone would like to share something? Is it easy to do? Alright, you've learned deeper about the topic. Suppose now, don't worry, it's okay. You're not gonna be penalized on the bad line. I have a bad line as well. No worries. Relate with what we've studied in class, alright, okay. Apa lagi? What's other feedbacks? What else did you learn? Did you learn more, by the way? On your stuff, on your devices? Boleh tulis Hazel, nak cakap pun tak apa. Or you want me to pick your name? Come on, anyone? Who's this? Alright, Amirah Osman. Oh, okay. Next presentation dan test dah ada tarikh tapi saya tak beritahu lagi. Minggu depan nak raya kan? So lepas raya. So I'm gonna give you your presentation 2 assignment. Presentation 2 lah. It's like an assignment as well. Before your break, right? Before your raya break, you're gonna have your raya break 1 week kan? Minggu depan. So I'm gonna give you the topic for you to digest during hari raya. Kalau waktu you raya tu nanti you baca-baca lah sikit lah. So I'm gonna give you the date before that and the topic. Okay. So apa ni Azri tulis? Let me read Azri's. Learn something about the device that before we only know about the name. Yup, right, yes, you've learned about the device on your own beforehand, right? So you did on LED. Apa lagi yang you belajar on this? What else did you learn other than the semiconductor stuff? Okay. Nanti Viva macam ni ke, Doktor? Yeah, yes. Most likely like this. Saya dengar memang online je lah. Sebab kita ada, we're not gonna have face-to-face interaction. So, most likely it's gonna be like this. So, maksudnya bila you prepare you punya slide, you punya timing, you punya rehearsal, the Viva is gonna be real time lah, bukan recorded lah. So, maksudnya it's gonna be pretty much like this. The process that you're gonna go through it's gonna be something like this, except we're gonna have the ada siapa? Pengusian jangan No, your supervisor, your examiner, and you. So 3 orang lah dalam your session nanti. So you're gonna be presenting about. You dah ada briefing ke on how to do your Viva or guideline and stuff? Oh, not yet Yes, Jasmine, no partner, 1 by 1. In fact, dalam FYP Viva, face to face pun memang you have to be there with your partner at the same time. Tapi you tak masuk dalam bilik presentation tu at one time pun. So, katalah you kena present kat bilik seminar 1 ke atas tu sebelum ni. Then you guys are gonna be there at the same time. Cumanya seorang-seorang lah masuk presenting your stuff. So, no partner. So Viva like this is gonna be 15 minutes or 20 minutes, then Q&A by this way. Solar cell is not a battery. Yes, it's not a battery. It's not a battery per se, sebab battery kita store charge, tapi solar cell kita convert energy from sunlight into electrical energy. So it's not battery per se. Tapi back then in the 1950s, American used to say solar cell as a battery sebab you can use the voltage generated by the solar cell to power up something, power up your load. So more or less it's like a battery, but device wise it's not a battery lah. Cuma kalau orang tak tahu, dia kata solar cell ni battery ke? It's not a storage device, it's a conversion device. Okay, so you physics student kena explain lah kalau orang tak tahu We learned that online interview is harder than face-to-face because of the line and the peripheral like microphone and such. Yes, it is. Usually memang betul. Online interview, if you talk about, for example, internship interview ke, job hunting interview ke, memang usually I think it's a bit harder because even though you have your audio clear, your speaker ke, your microphone clear, it is still quite difficult though because they cannot see you real life. Dia tak nampak you punya muka, nampak lah dalam kamera tapi dia tak nampak you punya body language, you punya nervousness, the way you handle things, dia tak nampak full story lah. So to me it's more difficult to impress your interviewer. Kalau you nak interview orang senang je. Tapi kalau you nak jawab tu macam and you want to score high marks for your interview, it's relatively harder compared to face to face. But if you are kalau you orang yang jenis nervous, you will probably prefer online interview lah sebab you tak payah menghadap dia kan. So dia punya nervous tu kurang sikit sebab you tak duduk depan interviewer. Tapi it's not satisfying lah for me. Okay, what else? No partner, no. What else? Belum. I learned that amorphous silicon is quite low manufacturing compared to others. Safe cost, amorphous silicon full of defects, especially any other defects, impurities. No. Okay, do not affect overall characteristics. Yes, Husna, the material is of low quality relatively because sebab bila kita sebut amorphous, we have learned last time during our first few weeks, amorphous silicon in comparison to polycrystalline, in comparison to monocrystalline, we have learned that amorphous silicon has no regular periodic arrangement at all. So maksudnya dia punya structure dia just random. When it is random, that means possibility of recombination is very high. So it's defective everywhere, right? It's defective everywhere. So therefore, the minority carrier diffusion lengths are a lot lower compared to polycrystalline or monocrystalline. So that's why bila you punya diffusion length is a lot lower, you cannot design your absorber thickness to be very thick. That's why the amorphous silicon punya thickness is up to 1 micron max. It's typically in the region of 500 nano, 300, 700. Thank God, because the absorption coefficient of amorphous silicon is much higher than crystalline silicon. Maksudnya dia tak perlu thick sangat lah in order to absorb most of the incident spectrum of sunlight. So being so much defect, maksudnya it's a blessing in disguise juga lah sebenarnya. So low recombination and yet it can absorb more. Just imagine if amorphous silicon has a lot of defects and therefore high recombination, and at the same time dia ada poor light absorption due to low absorption coefficient. So that would mean that material tak boleh pakai langsung lah sebab dia punya recombination dah lah banyak, kemudian dia punya absorption pula poor. So therefore you need it thick. Bila you need it thick, you need to have good diffusion length punya material, tapi it doesn't have, so it lost in all directions. Okay, so it's a blessing in disguise to amorphous silicon. What makes me curious that it does have dangling bond, actually hydrogen bonded. Okay, dangling bonds is due to the randomness of the structure. Dia tak ada regular arrangement, so dia ada banyak defects, and these defects will be in the form of dangling bond physically. Maksudnya kalau kita nampak amorphous silicon tu bawah scope, if you can see the bond, then it's the defects. Defect tu is actually the electronic state dalam band gap, but physically it is a dangling bond. So to be able to suppress the dangling bonds, you need to do surface passivation with hydrogen yang tadi Faika explained tu. If you don't do that, you will cause the performance of the amorphous silicon to drop immediately after exposure to sunlight, and that's called Stabler-Wronski effect. That's called Stabler-Wronski effect. Okay, it is a form of light-induced degradation. Right, maksudnya upon exposure to sunlight, performance of the solar cell, amorphous silicon solar cell will drop due to the Stabler-Wronski effect. So to be able to minimize, you cannot eliminate, macam Faika cakap tadi, you can only minimize by having the dangling bonds passivated on the surface. Okay, so that's the role of hydrogen as passivation lah. Okay, macam mana nak viva kalau eksperimental? Lama ni soalan FYP ni. Tak apalah, saya entertain lah because we still have time though. Macam mana nak viva eksperimen tak siap lagi? Yes, it happens to everyone. It also happens to MSc coursework student. Eksperimen siap tapi eksperimen tak siap lagi tapi due date approaching. We'll see when is the earliest time we can open the lab. We'll see. It's possibly sometime in June, but we haven't decided. Last time kalau you tengok workflow USM yang VC bagi tu kat semua orang tu, we supposed to open 1st of June. And the students supposed to come in 8th of June, second week. Tapi PKPB ni kita dah extend up to 9th of June. So looks like to me belum ada announcement dari USM. To me it looks like the previous flow yang USM dah keluarkan tu dah override lah, dah di overwritten by the federal punya instruction. So as of now, nobody knows yet the exact date we're gonna open. Tapi we think it should be sometime June. Dan research student pun akan start sometime June juga. Cumanya kami pun masih tertunggu-tunggu detail tu. Right? Assuming you can resume your work in June. Ni saya nak bagi kat you timeline timeline supaya you can feel the heat. You already feel the heat, right? So I think you have to start writing sometimes end of June. Bukan start writing lah, continue writing. That's why you dah write belum sebenarnya? Have you started writing at all? Have you started writing at all? Dah tulis kan? Kalau student saya suruh tulis lah. Student lain saya tak sure. You need to have your chapters ready. Ready few chapters lah by then. You tak boleh tak buat apa-apa lagi ya. For now, you have to start writing already. Sebab bila you start nanti, let's say, katalah you start sometimes mid of June, then you have practically about 1 month. 1 month je. Mid of July, then you have to clean up already, then you have to finish off your writing, then do the thesis submission, then viva, because the results have to be approved sometimes 3rd week of August. Maksudnya you punya viva semua dah ready, result semua dah keluar, markah semua dah ada. Everything has to happen sometime early August or mid of August. Maksudnya you kena get everything done by July. Kalau kita boleh buka Jun. Kalau kita tak boleh buka Jun, I have no idea. You have to ask your PC. Okay? Okay, so for now, yeah, that's the case. Let me go up back. Sebronsky fact. Yeah. Okay, so most of you dah writing. So, jangan ada yang belum writing at all. Okay, please. So, by now, I think you should have done at least 1 or 2 chapters. Sekarang bulan Mei kan. I think you have most probably about 5 or 6 chapters. So make sure bila you masuk lab nanti, ni tips free tips, okay. Make sure you habiskan you punya chapter yang method, results, maybe apa yang you dah ada, you can start plotting up already the graph and the table, maybe a bit of introduction and some literature. Okay, conclusion dengan result discussion and conclusion, you still have to wait for the result because you cannot write properly without having full results. So maksudnya chapter sebelum-sebelum tu you dah kena ada lah by then. Okay, supaya you tak terlalu overloaded. Kalau you tak buat apa lagi, kalau waktu tu lah nak start intro, literature, method, then you're gonna be overloaded. Nanti you nak kena hantar kat supervisor lagi. Supervisor is gonna be a couple of draft. Ada yang dah hantar kat supervisor ke so far? Anyone? Dah hantar chapter ke at least? Chapter yang dah ready you kena hantar sekarang. Okay? Ada yang dah hantar? Chapter 1 ke? Chapter 2 ke? Chapter 3 ke? Once you are ready, all intro. Okay. Yang mana dah ada, hantar je. It's okay. Kalau supervisor lambat check, it's okay. Tak apalah. As long as you dah hantar. Hantar je yang mana dah ada. Just get yourself, at least you boleh ready sikit lah. You offload from one chapter. Ada literature, hantar dulu. You might have to come back and update accordingly, but then you dah kena ada some framework. Alright? Semua dah discuss kan dengan supervisor your thesis framework, thesis layout and stuff? Subchapter, chapter, subchapter semua? Betul. Dah discuss belum? Ada yang belum discuss? Semua dah? By now you should have discussed your thesis outline already and subchapter. Maksudnya apa ada kat chapter 1, chapter 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, semua dah kena ada by now, okay? You cannot afford to not have anything now. You dah kena ada skeleton of your thesis. Then it's all about filling up the sub-chapters. Kalau yang belum discuss lagi, please talk to your supervisor, insist discussion as soon as possible. Kalau yang belum discuss, try to get it done before Raya. Maknanya before Raya dah ada chapter punya structure, then fill up slowly, one by one. Okay, any other question? Okay, any other question on FYP? You might have to, I don't know, you might have to talk to your supervisor nanti kalau let's say you punya eksperimen tak jadi ke, result tak cukup ke, you might have to tone down your results. You might have to tone down your thesis accordingly, your project accordingly. Saya rasa you don't have to worry so much because it happens to everyone and to every supervisor, which happens to be examiner as well. So nobody's gonna expect too high this round because semua orang pun suffer from the same problem. So we're gonna be more tolerant, I think. At least for me, I'm gonna be a bit more tolerant. Hopefully it goes to others too. Ada soalan lain tak on presentation ke? On FYP? As a side discussion, anything else? Semua dah ada some result kan? Tak ada yang belum ada result at all? Ada ke yang tak ada result langsung? Kalau tak ada result langsung tu kena discuss supervisor. What's your maneuver? How to go about? Okay, kalau result tak cukup tu tak apalah, okay. Kalau tak ada result langsung tu, you have to talk to your supervisor about plan B, plan C, plan D sampai plan Z. Okay. Alright, any other questions? Tak ada lah. All good. Presentation 2 nanti sama presentation 1. Yes. Presentation 2 is gonna be the same with presentation 1. Cumanya content dia saya akan bagi tahu kemudian. The earlier plan was to do a group presentation dalam lecture hall. Tapi we can't do that, so I resort to this individual video. Okay. Konsep dia pun akan sama, presentation, and then I'll probably go through macam sekarang juga. You view the presentation videos on certain topics, and then we come to the class. We do the Q&A, and then you're gonna be assessed accordingly. Saya akan bagi insyaAllah sometime this week sebelum Raya tajuk tu. Okay. Then your test 2 will be, I think we have 3 weeks to go after Raya. So week 16, minggu depan 15. So we're gonna have week 16, 17, 18. I think test 2 is gonna be on week 17. Yeah, I think test 2 is gonna be on week 17. Seminggu selepas Raya. Seminggu lebih lah selepas Raya. So test 2 is gonna be open book test as well. So it's gonna cover on the device part. Soalan will be pretty much like last time, tapi device related, and you might have to go back to your videos and your friends' videos and to other sources to get the answers. Okay. Tapi sebelum tu, this week, hold on, I still have to go like 3 or 4 sessions. I'm gonna go through Wednesday. I'm gonna go through solar cell device presentation. I'm gonna give you overviews, but partly is due to my field as well, field of research. I'm gonna give you quite a lot of materials on solar cells, and then I'm gonna give you tengok sempat ke tak. Kalau tak sempat, we're gonna go through MOSFET after Raya. Then we're gonna go through presentation as well after Raya. Okay. I think we're gonna finish slightly earlier than expected, maybe week 17. Saya rasa. So yeah, that's all. Ada soalan lain? Tak ada? Okay, kalau tak ada, that's all for today. Yang mana yang saya cakap tadi FYP tu, talk to your supervisor kalau belum ada result, and kalau you don't know what's next ataupun you don't know how to write, discuss with your supervisor lah. Alright, that's it for today. So yeah, Assalamualaikum, bye bye, stay safe.